Oh yeah, let's do this. What's up, Slick Dealers? Today we're taking a look at a magical little camera, which I am currently wearing, the Insta360 Go 2. It's been enough time since the camera was released, so most of the top critics have reviewed it, and honestly the camera got my attention with the sudden influx of reviews on all my YouTube feed at once. So if you're like me and you saw this, you'll be happy to know we compiled all the top critics' reviews together to give you a Rotten Tomatoes style aggregate review of the Insta360 Go 2. This is a nifty little camera. GoPros are cool and all, but one of the most frustrating things with GoPros for me has always been how expensive the accessories are. They don't really come with any in the box, and so even though you'll be shelling out $300 to $500 for the camera, you can expect to pay another $50 at least in the simple accessories that are basically expected in the GoPro. Like a housing, a stand, a suction or stick mount. Does this bother anybody else? Like this video if you feel the same. Insta360 capitalized on this with their Go camera, and now they've released the Go 2, an all-around improvement to the original Go. This tiny little camera has a huge personality between unique perks and features, design, performance, accessories, etc. The Go 2 has a lot to talk about. But the two biggest questions we at Slickdeals ask ourselves before we buy any product are, is it any good? And more importantly, is it a good deal? Let's get those answers, starting with accessories. With generally positive reviews on accessories, the Go 2 excels where competitors fail by including several key accessories with the device. Let's take a look at those, shall we? First off, you get a hat clip, which you try to use like so, and it took me about 30 seconds to put this on, which is a lot longer than it sounds. And there's that magnet. An adhesive mount, a magnetic pendant, which is how I magically attached it to my shirt earlier. It also includes the charging case, which is actually so much more than that. It serves as a camera remote, the basic mounting accessory in the case in case you want to attach the camera to a tripod, and is a miniature tripod itself. How neat is that? Reviewers really talked a lot about the magnetic pendant, concluding that it was a really nifty accessory and loved the idea over the traditional concept of a chest mount. However, a couple of testers had trouble with the strength of the magnet, which resulted in it falling off. To be honest, that could have been because they were putting it on backwards. See, it kind of works both ways, but one is obviously stronger, FYI, the side that has the cutout area for it. Reviewers also like the adhesive mount, which can double as a little selfie stick for handheld shots. CNET said, they're just coming out with these accessories that really make you look at the cameras in a new light and kind of inspire you to go out and shoot with them. And then the hat clip is not too shabby either. So much innovation in one device, they really thought of everything in this little action camera, at least in terms of accessories. The consensus on design was mostly positive, with only 2 reviewers giving what we would call neutral reactions. The size of the device was an obvious win. I mean, look at it compared to my keys. This is another cool thing about the camera. Magnets! How do they work? Just pop it on your fridge and let it cling for life as you hastily prepare gnocchi for the leftover marinara you've been dying to eat. Or use that magnetic pendant, if you dare. Almost all reviewers appreciated the device in terms of its shape and maneuverability. iJustine said, what I love so much about this camera is it's kind of like a first-person view camera. You can wear it on your shirt and place it places that you normally could not put any other types of cameras. Where it suffers is internally. The camera houses only 32 gigabytes of built-in storage with no external storage option, and only 28 gigabytes of that is free. What does that mean in terms of shoot times? Well, you're only gonna get about 30 minutes of video in pro mode before this thing conks out. We'll get into that a little bit more in the performance section in just a little bit. Another negative note was the lack of easy control or buttons on the device. Without a smartphone or the device's charging case, the entire body serves as its only button, of which you use a combination of clicks to access various settings and functions. And without using either your smartphone or the charge case, reviewers noted it can get confusing figuring out just what you're doing with the device, which can lead to issues like sideways video, unstabilized video, or no video at all. Battery life received mixed reviews. Most of the reviewers only briefly mentioned the battery life of the Insta360 Go 2, and the comments were more in line with a spec shout out. So says Tom's Guide, The Insta360 Go 2 will last about half as long as some of the best action cameras such as the GoPro Hero 9. Though the device only lasts an abysmal 30 minutes on a single charge, this wasn't a big issue for many of the testers. They came to grips with the battery life, with the fact that the Go 2 is an action camera made to capture fast-paced events, not marathons. But worth noting, the Go 2 does take cues from the Apple AirPods with its charging case, which gives you another 120 minutes of battery life and can allow you to shoot while you're plugged in. So that may help for some of those longer shoots with time lapses and things like that. Features. Like I stated earlier, this camera has a lot of features to talk about, and it received extremely positive reviews as a result. One of the most interesting is the original aspect ratio it shoots in. The native recording is a 2880 by 2880 sphere, which allows you to shoot video with the camera horizontally and vertically and make your adjustments later. The two main features of the Insta360 Go 2 that received a lot of praise from testers were the flow state stabilization and the horizon lock. Many of the reviewers took the device on rigorous walks and found the video stabilization software to work exceptionally well. But the real highlight feature for them was the horizon lock. Turning this on, the programming of the camera intelligently maintains the horizon in the frame. During the reviews, testers found it really cool that this feature would keep the video upright even when you rotated the camera. While the camera and its accessories are very capable on their own, some reviewers walked us through the Insta360 app on the smartphone to show us the full potential of the device. These reviewers really liked what you could do with the app in terms of pre- and post-production. For pre-recording, you can set things like aspect ratio, shooting mode, and white balance. In post, there is an in-app video editor with several filters and transitions to create a final product. Performance was generally positive, with only 3 neutral and 1 negative review. Given the size of the Insta360 Go 2, many reviewers were impressed by what it could do. Despite capping out at 1440p and 50 frames per second, most of the product testers were satisfied with the results of their videos and pictures. I mean, the specs aren't impressive, but they aren't downright awful either. In particular, they found it very interesting that the camera actually shoots video in that circle format that I mentioned earlier. This allows the reviewers to swap around different aspect ratios in real time, like 9:16, 16:9, or 1:1. Forbes said it best: "I was surprised at the quality of the video. In something that could be rather gimmicky, it actually looks pretty good. It's no Hero 9 or Insta360's own 1R, but for social media posts, it looks great." One of the few qualms among reviewers with the video capture was the file type. Shooting videos in normal mode gave them standard MP4s that they could transfer easily from device to device. However, if they shot in Pro mode, the video would have to be first run through the Insta360 app on a smartphone to sort of fix that circular video format before it could be transferred back out. This may not bother some users, as the inherent style of recording from this device is better suited for social media posts anyways, instead of more hardcore video edits. Another negative, that 32GB storage limitation results in maximum recordings of as little as 10 minutes in Pro mode, with the best stabilization turned on. That sort of stinks. And add in the fact that you could only shoot for 3 10-minute sessions like that before you'd have to offload all your footage, because at that point, your internal storage would be maxed out. And if that doesn't stop you, the 30-minute battery life will. For sound, a few reviewers mentioned sound quality very briefly and found it to do the job very well. They also noted the device doesn't have any ports for external mic use, but this wasn't too big of a concern either. I mean, not many people expect that out of an action camera anyways. It would sort of defeat the purpose of using a purposefully small device like this. Finally, price. The Insta360 Go 2 comes in at an MSRP of $300, which some reviewers found to be a little too much for what it offered. CNET said it felt like it should be priced cheaper by about $50 to $100 for what you get, and I'm personally conflicted on this one. The unique offerings of this device make me feel better about paying the $300 price tag, but I do also feel a little forlorn about paying this for a device when I know I could get the more industry standard GoPro for the same price. Tallying up all the scores from the sections, the Go 2 did pretty decent, with an overall aggregate score of 7.9 out of 10. This is a fresh take on the aging action camera design, and I think it shows that the "if it ain't broke, don't fix it" mentality can successfully be challenged in some instances. This camera does many things that the GoPro simply never addressed, or at least did address in a way that ends up costing the consumer. I like this camera and I hope to get more out of it. Please subscribe for more deals on interesting products like this. The Go 2 may not be on sale, but it's a fairly reasonably priced action camera with a lot of interesting features and accessories. I'm Pete King, thanks for watching.